Hello and welcome to this video brought to you by the West Haven Public Library. In this video we will be making a Suffragette Rosette, and this is in honor of the centennial of the ratification of the 19th Amendment. So in this video we will be making what you see here, this cute little rosette with all of the purple, white, and yellow colors. On the back we have an optional safety pin so that you can pin this to your shirt and wear it. You could also take yarn or string and loop it through one of the top loops up here and hang it on your wall. Whatever you want to do, it's really for you to display and wear and with pride. So with that being said, we can move on to the actual craft. So these are the materials that you're going to need to make your rosettes. Included in the kit that you will pick up from the library are 12 yellow strips, 6 purple strips, 6 white strips, and a spare of each color. There will also be a purple circle and 2 white circles, and a safety pin. The safety pin is optional. This is what you're going to use to pin the rosette to your shirt if you would like to wear it. If you don't want to wear it, you don't need to use the safety pin, but it's here just in case. And there will also be an instruction sheet to go along with the video. Now, a few things you're going to need from home. You'll need a marker or a pen. You can use Sharpie, Expo, whatever you've got. You'll need a pair of scissors. Any size will do. You'll need a stapler. You'll need any kind of glue, white glue, clear glue, hot glue, whatever you have at home. And finally, you'll need 2 objects from around your house that you can use as a weight. This goes along with the optional safety pin. So if you're not planning to use a safety pin, you don't have to worry about this. But if you are planning to make your rosette wearable, you're going to want 2 objects that you can use to support the safety pin while it's being glued. Otherwise, it'll fall over. So you can use rocks, you can use Legos. I have applesauce containers here. Anything that is fairly small and that will hold the safety pin in an upright position while it's drying in the glue. Once you have all your supplies ready, we can get into making the rosette. So what I did here was I set up all of my purple and white strips in an alternating pattern, and I put my smallest white circle in the middle so that I could have a visual representation of what it's going to look like. And the smallest circle has a 2.5 written on it. The other white circle will have a 2.75. That is for later. We are working with a 2.5 circle right now. So you can set this up however you like. This made sense to me to see all the colors. So what you want to do is you want to take your circle and you want to take one of your strips. I'm going to start at the very top. And you basically want to fold your strip in half. You don't want to flatten it because that will give you a very flat, sad looking rosette. You want to keep it nice and poofy. So what I suggest is when you fold it, try not to flatten it. Try to keep it as poofy as you can, like that. And then you are going to put it right behind the back of the circle, maybe an inch down. You can eyeball it. However, as long as you're not going all the way down here with one strip and all the way up here with another, it's going to look fine. So I go down about an inch if I can on the back of the circle, and then you just have to get your stapler in there and staple it. Now you've got the first part of your rosette, and now we'll go on to the next color. Fold it in half. Don't crease it, keep it nice and poofy. And this one's going to go right next to this one. See on the back, it goes down to about the same length, leaving a little bit of space in here because this is where the yellow ones are going to go later on. So once you've got it placed well, get your stapler and staple it. So you are just going to repeat this process all the way around. Folding your piece of paper, making sure to keep it as poofy as you can, and then stapling it to the back of this circle. So at this point, I've got almost all of my purple and white ribbons in. I am on, the last one is going right in here. But I wanted to show you because at this point it gets a little bit difficult to maneuver the stapler. So what I've found easiest is, if you're having trouble once you run out of room, is to place your little ribbon where you want it to be and come across the opposite side. Just kind of sneak your way through the ribbons on the opposite side. Set it down if that helps. And then do that. And that kind of makes it a little bit easier once you've run out of the room between the ribbons to put your stapler. So now this step, what you want to do is you want to take your 3 extra of each color. So these aren't for if you make mistakes. These are for these ribbons that come down from the rosette. In mine, I had the purple ribbon being the longest. Then I had the white ribbon being a little bit shorter and the yellow ribbon being the shortest. At this point in time, they are all the exact same length. So at this point, you want to make them different lengths. Since I want the purple one to be the longest, yours can be a different color, but for this one, I chose purple. You want to cut a triangle into the bottom of your strip like this. Doesn't have to be perfect as long as it gives off this ribbon appearance. Now the next one, what you want to be your middle length, you want to cut a little bit off, maybe about 1 inch. And then you want to do the same thing. You want to cut a little triangle into the bottom. And then for the last one, in my case it's the yellow one, I want to cut off a little bit more than what I cut off in the last one. And then again, triangle at the bottom. Once I've done this, I have all 3 of my ribbons. And I found that the easiest way to do this was to take your 3 ribbons, set them up with the longest in the front and the shortest in the back, and kind of maneuver them so that a little bit of each one is showing. You want the ribbon of each one to be showing, not hidden behind each other. You want to see that triangle. And once you have that in a way that you like it, staple the top of this so this all stays together. And then we're going to take our rosette, I'm going to flip it over, and we want to staple this to the back. So again, just get it set up kind of like how we did with the ribbons, probably about to the same length then as you've got the rest of these. And the easiest way would be to come across the opposite end and now staple this. All right, so now from the front, it's looking a lot more like a rosette. So the next step now involves our 12 yellow strips. These ones we want to fold in half again. And this time they are going to be stapled to the front of the circle so that they appear right on top and shorter than the rest of our ribbons. Now here, you can do this one of 2 ways. If you feel confident that you can work your stapler in between these ribbons and staple these on top of here, like this. You can do that all the way around. You have 12 of these, so you're going to do them in between each of the colors. The other way to do it that would probably be much easier would be to take your stapler, pop it in half like this, take your ribbon, and then just line this part of the ribbon up with where you want to staple and press. So once you have all your yellow strips stapled on, it should look a little something like this. Okay, and our next step is going to be, we are going to glue our white circle on top to cover up all of our staples. And we are also going to glue this purple circle onto the back to cover all of our staples on the back. So the first thing you want to do here is our white circle on the front. Not only does it cover the staples, but it also doubles as our little Votes for Women slogan that is in the center of the rosettes. Here you've got a lot of creative liberty. You can put whatever you like on there. Votes for Women, I'm a suffragette, go girl, whatever you'd like to put there. So you're just going to take your marker and your 2.75 circle. You want to flip it over because you don't want this pencil mark on the outside. And whatever you want to put on it, you're just going to write it on there. Okay, so we'll start with the back side of our rosette because we're going to be gluing these and we want to keep pressure on these. So if we start with the back, then that just makes it easy to flip over. So here's where your glue is going to come into play, whatever glue you've got. Go ahead and open that up. And just pour it right over your staples here. You may not cover every single one of them, that's okay, but definitely this big mass of staples here, you want to cover that up. So you're just going to pour glue in there. I wouldn't overdo it because that'll get kind of messy. I might have overdone it just now, but you know, more glue means it's going to stick anyway. So whatever you do, you can't go wrong. It just might be a little bit more messy. All right, and then just going to press that down. You want to hold down in place, depending on the glue you've got. You want to hold down for a minute or so and just let that dry. Okay, so I held my circle down for about a minute or so. It's still wet, but because it's sticking, it's good enough to flip on over and repeat the process with this side. So this time we're using our white circle. Again, the pencil marks on the back, so make sure that's right. And again with the glue, just going to, you want it mainly in this white circle here and onto the yellow here. You want to cover as many of the staples as you can. I may not cover all of mine because I didn't do it very neatly, but that's okay. It's charming anyway. And again, you're going to press it down into the glue and you want to hold it down for a minute or so that it sticks. So now at this point, my top circle is in place. It's sticking pretty well, but if yours is not sticking all that well, I would suggest grabbing a mug or a cup, just plant it right on top and let it be for a little while. You want to give it, I'd say 30 minutes to an hour to dry. It doesn't need to be perfectly dry to move on to the next step, but you do want it dry when you display it or when you wear it. Otherwise, you're going to get glue all over your shirt, all over your wall, wherever you choose to put it. If you have chosen not to use the safety pin to make this into a wearable rosette, then this is it for you. This is the end of the craft. Once this dries, go ahead and display it with pride. For anybody who is going to make this into a wearable craft, stay tuned. Let this dry for about half an hour to an hour. And when you come back, we will glue the safety pin on. And again, we'll leave that to dry for quite a while. And then after that, you too will be able to display and wear your Suffragette Rosette with pride. Okay, so after you've let your rosette dry for a while, what you want to do, is take it, flip it over. If it's still kind of wet and gluey, you might want to put paper or cardboard down below it. As you see, I got some on my table. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to open the safety pin. Okay, and we're going to glue it horizontally, like this, with the needle facing straight up. So if you were looking down at this, it would look like that. Okay, so what you want to do is take your glue again and make a nice thick line of glue. You want to put your safety pin in it, standing straight up, and it's going to fall if you leave it. So this is where your weights come into play. It is standing up straight. It's leaning against my little applesauce containers. And now you just want to leave that. I would say overnight. That would probably be the best option, just so it's not still tacky and slipping out of its position. So set this up on the counter, on top of the fridge, somewhere where it's not going to be bothered, and let it dry overnight. Tomorrow, when this is all finished drying, you can take your weights off and clip it to your shirt and wear it with pride. Thank you very much for tuning into this craft, and we hope to see pictures of your completed rosettes on Facebook, on Instagram, and pictures you send to the library. If you show up to the library wearing one, that would be awesome too. Whatever you want to do, wear them with pride.